Hi, I'm Miss Mills. I'm one of the geography teachers at Teignmouth, and I'm just introducing myself because I'll probably be doing some live lessons and also some pre-recorded lessons with you. So today we're going to be looking at how does a chocolate bar connect the sectors of the economy. So there is a link for a video to watch, and that is in the Google Classroom assignment. I want you to watch that and also answer the 3 questions. It probably will take you about 5 minutes, so pause here and answer the questions and we'll go through them. Okay, so you should have answered the questions and looked at the video. So how might the two pictures be connected? Well, the first picture is a chocolate bar, something you probably already know, and the second picture is a raw cocoa bean plant, so where you actually get chocolate from. Countries where chocolate comes from, places in South America and Africa, such as Ghana. And for number 3, your primary is going to be the cocoa farmer. Your secondary is going to be a chocolate factory worker, and your tertiary is going to be a shopkeeper selling the chocolate bars. Going on to the next slide. So we're just going to be looking at how the primary, secondary, tertiary sectors work together, and looking at natural resources and their use in manufacturing. Next slide. So looking at this, in previous geography lessons and maybe at primary school, you discovered that our knowledge and understanding of the world has changed through time. The early explorers who began to map the world were also those who discovered the rich range of natural resources on our planet. These natural resources led to the development of trade between countries. Cocoa is an example of a natural resource, and again there's that picture showing the cocoa pod at the start before it's processed into chocolate. And going to the next slide. So what I'd like you to do is just pause the video here and just read through the information about cocoa and some of its past. Okay, now you've read that, you can make any notes if you want, and we will move on to the next slide. Okay, there's a question which relates to the information on the previous slides. Pause here and answer the question. Okay, so who discovered that cocoa would be transformed into chocolate will be the Mayan Indians and the Aztecs. Next slide. So pause the video here and just read the information, and you can take any notes you would like. Okay, now that you've taken notes and read through the information, we're moving on to the next slide. You can pause it again and read through this information. Okay, once you've read through the information, it's just important to note a few things. So humid tropical climates just mean it's very, very damp, and also very, very warm very similar to things like a tropical rainforest. It's going to be hot and damp. You also need a lot of rainfall, and you need it to be a higher temperature, so can't go lower than 15 degrees. So pause the video and spend about 4 minutes completing the 2 questions. Make sure you answer in full sentences, and you'll be needing to use information on previous slides. Okay, now you can move on to the next slide, and we're now looking at a map. On the map, you can see there's 2 main colours. You've got sort of the reddy orange colours and then the yellow. The red and orange colour is showing you the cocoa production. So those are the people that are growing the cocoa. And then you have the yellow, which is showing the consumers. So that's the people who are eating the cocoa, most likely in the form of chocolate bars or some sort of hot chocolate or something along those lines. So when you look at the map, you can see that most of your producers are in South America. So if you look here, you've got a lot in South America. You've got some in sort of Central Africa, and then in places like India and Southeast Asia. And then we're going to the next slide. Okay, for this task, you will be answering 3 questions. It will take you about 10 to 12 minutes to answer them, and you will be needing information from previous slides in the lesson. When looking at the 3 questions, just to quickly go through them so you know what you're doing. With A, it's describe the location of the producers of cocoa and the consumers of chocolate. You don't need to say why you think they're in that location, you just need to say where are they. You can use continents, country names, anything like that, north, south, east or west, to describe where they are. I've also put a line through which shows you where the equator is. For B, why don't the world's consumers of chocolate grow their own cocoa? You just need to think of where can you grow cocoa and why can you only grow it there. And C, the producers and consumers of cocoa and chocolate are interdependent. Explain what you think this means. So I won't tell you what interdependent means. See if you know what it means, or maybe you can look it up yourself and see if you can understand how it relates to this. So you can give yourself 10 minutes to go through these questions using all the information from the lesson. And after that, we will go through some answers. So if you want to pause here. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the answers, and you can mark them yourself. So, probably using a different color, you can now mark your own work. So we're going through each question. So the first question was asking you to describe the location of the producers and the consumers. So the producers are mainly in South America, Central Africa and Asia, on or close to the equator. So it's a good one to mention is that they are very close to the equator and on the equator itself. The consumers are mainly located in Europe, Russia and Australia. For question B was why are the consumers not growing it themselves? And it's because the world's consumers can't do that because they aren't close to the equator. So if you look at somewhere like the UK or Switzerland or Russia, we are further away from the equator than places such as Ghana and Brazil. So it's not going to be easy. We also have lower temperatures. Right now, it's very, very cold, and to produce cocoa, you need to have temperatures above 15 degrees. So it's all to do with the temperatures and how far away or close you are to the equator. For number C, it's talking about how producers and consumers of cocoa and chocolate are interdependent. So interdependent means that they depend on each other. So they need each other. So this means that the producers need the consumers to continue to buy the chocolate, and the consumers need the producers to continue to grow the cocoa. So if one of them failed, then the other would fail as well. If you're a company selling chocolate, if you didn't have the producers, you would fail at meeting the consumer's needs. So one cannot function without the other. So make sure you've added the details there. I've put in bold the most important points, so you can add those in yourself. And you can pause here if you want to give yourself extra time. And just on the last page is more of an optional task if you would like to do it. So you've got 9 pictures with some description. The boxes basically show you the different stages of a cocoa pod to a chocolate bar. And you can draw them onto a bit of paper and put them in the right order. So from the cocoa pod to the chocolate bar, but in the actual order you think they're meant to be in. This one could take you maybe 5 to 10 minutes. It depends how detailed your drawings are. I hope this lesson has been okay. If you have any questions, just go to the chat and you can send messages there. And thank you for listening.